last look at everyone. Let's get ready. All right, everyone, here we go. Clear the visor. Let's get ready. Victor 54, take 4.
The job of the director, I think, is to set the context through which other people can create and do wonderful things. So I've tried to encourage as much in the way of ideas as I possibly could.
Let's try that. All right, pictures up. Ready.
This film looks astounding. It's absolutely gorgeous.
James is really visual. A lot of our dialogue early on was me sending him images, him sending me images, and just understanding exactly what we were telling each other without any words.
Kevin Thompson was the production designer, did a brilliant job, but his brilliance also was a challenge for me because there's not excess space, there's not room in these crafts. They're all built for like military-grade tolerances. That was the idea.
Dealing with space and space travel brings out like the kind of kid in all of us, and I think that there was a bit of a giddiness at times of like the worlds we were creating.
I'm doing a little pruning. It was looking a little healthy, too healthy for us. It has to be a very sad garden here.
The attention to detail was unbelievable.
This is what it's come to here on the Lima project. They had one little seed from 10 years ago, and they're being very careful with it. This is tonight's dinner, right in here.
If you look back to the 60s and see the space program stuff, it's not really much different than it is today. We're projecting ahead and saying that it's still very utilitarian and functional.
Welcome aboard the Cepheus. On our way to Mars, the very last stop.
The Cepheus is where we spend most of our time in terms of script pages, so we put special attention into every detail.
We tried to base that as much on the ISS. Nothing in there for amenities, just everything is about the practicality of it, you know?
This cockpit was inspired by military jets and also the space shuttle with a little bit of our own interpretation, but we wanted it to feel extremely real.
Every sign on every button is actual signage that works.
I wanted every switch to have a purpose so that if you wanted to land the space shuttle looking at the cockpit in the movie, you could do it.
All the switches up here, all the controls in the console, all the screens are as authentic as possible.
From the painting of the panels and the molding of the ship, each piece of set dressing is based entirely on real technology.
Now we're in the command module. This is where we have 2 jump seats on that side and 2 jump seats here. We've taken the wall out so that we can have access for the camera. And then right behind this door, this is the equipment module where a lot of the action takes place.
And you know, we built the sets twice because you had a horizontal set, right? And then in order to do the zero gravity stuff, it was a vertical set.
We duplicated this and built it twice. So we could do stunt rigging and hang the actors and have zero G. We had to match the set dressing exactly. It's meant to be that there's no up and there's no down.
I like doing it.
Now we're in the airlock, directly behind the equipment room that we were just in. These are these doors here. And it's directly in front of the last room in the Cepheus, which is the fuel chamber, the farthest back section of the Cepheus, sort of the roughest mechanical room or the boiler room of the ship. This is the side where Roy McBride climbs up to show you how he gains entry into the ship on Mars.
Those spacesuits are fascinating. You have a cooling system, you have materials that expand and contract from pressure, you have a computer. It's a whole world inside that spacesuit. The weight of a real one is 30 pounds. We did cut it down to 15, but it's pretty authentic looking.
When you think about costumes for a science fiction movie, it's one of the great challenges because the clothing gets dated instantly and, you know, you want to put the diagonal zipper or something on the shirt or whatever, all of a sudden it dates the movie in some way.
James didn't want it to be costumey, and that was very important for him. And I had to think about how to solve that.
I remember I brought this book I have showing how engineers dress, you know, incredibly simple. And he kind of went, oh, I see.
So the job was to find a way of making it banal and ordinary, but not today. 100 years from now, I don't know if I could ever get there, but not today. And that was very difficult because I knew the results would be totally invisible.
He said, if I'm good, no one will ever notice the costumes. May I say, I think it's one of the things I'm really happiest with in the film. You don't notice the costumes at all. People are wearing what they should be wearing, which I think is really hard in a science fiction movie and quite perfect.
And cut. Bingo.
Our main characters are very prescribed, military, astronaut. There isn't much room for invention, shall we say. But it's the background that sets where we are. That was the most difficult thing, to evolve looks for people that don't even speak, they just walk through. He felt that that would be a way of showing that things don't change. And then when we got to Mars, the more removed they are from Earth, the more they lose track and they get a little crazy. They're all wearing real clothes, but put things upside down, one on top of the other, giving them a feeling of just having lost it.
We've tried to approach this again with an eye towards as much authenticity as we could. We saw Mars, which is the sort of last manned outpost for our film, and what an outpost, scientific outpost in Antarctica is today.
A few years ago, I had read about an installation in Antarctica where they have these parties. They all let go, they all dress as they want. So I want you to think of yourself as by day computer scientists or geologists, and now you're letting loose a little bit. So with that, let's rumble. Thank you so much.
We chose to shoot on location for all of the Mars sets, but we didn't know what it should look like exactly. We knew that it was probably going to be underground. We ended up mostly at a power plant that had odd-shaped spaces, stone and concrete. Because of the technology today with lighting and all of these great LED panels, we created these grids of light that the color could be dynamic. You could alter the color just a hair in this direction or a hair in that direction. So it affected the colors of everything, the costumes, the furniture, the rugs, and the feeling.
A little brighter. There you go.
We had a fantastic director of photography, Hoyte van Hoytema.
Which is kind of the coolest name you've ever heard, isn't it?
Hoyte has a whole crew who are very dedicated to him and to the movie. He goes in there and he is the floor commander. I joked that I said they were the cult, and they're amazing, and they have a great sense of humor about the whole system and the whole way that he works, and it makes going to set very rewarding.
I'm doing this for a very specific reason.
Oh, I see. And I was very grateful for that on this. There was a lot of technical stuff that he had gone through already doing Chris Nolan's movie Interstellar that I just didn't know at all.
But during this sequence, the ship is kind of repositioning as we do this, right?
Right.
What Hoyte was able to do with this is beyond my understanding or explanation. And it's only someone who's made a lifetime of studying light and refractions and color temperatures and things that are well beyond me.
You have to select new blue because we went dark.
It was shot on film, not digital. James was striving for an analog kind of feeling. His idea being that it feels more truthful to us instinctually.
As 35mm goes, it's quite grainy, what we've done. I love grain. To me, it's like the brushstrokes in a canvas. The photography is astounding, it's jaw-dropping. And in a way that I didn't even realize until I went to the digital intermediate, because then you start to see all the stuff you didn't see before. The latitude of film is crazy, all the stuff in the details, all the work he did with color, and it becomes astonishing. It's a movie of extremes and very strange color schemes. The science of it dictated a lot of what we did. Here's a fact for you. If you were to take your hand and dig it into the sediment of the moon, the lunar surface, and you brought it back to the Earth, it would be almost black, the surface of the moon. But every image you see of the moon, it looks like it's light gray, or almost even white in some of these shots, because the surface of the moon is overexposed. The brightness, the reflection of the sun on the moon's surface is so extreme, and the sky is as black as anything as you've ever seen. Mars would be, from the photographs that we have seen from Jet Propulsion Laboratories rovers, not quite so red, actually, a little bit more yellow than red. And Neptune, you'd get only blue light. If you'd have any light at all, we're actually cheating. You'd probably be considerably more dark than it is in the film, but you know, obviously you have to see something.
All right, ready, rolls down.
This film lives by its sound design. It really makes the difference in this as far as the feelings. It shouldn't be so in your face that you recognize it, but it should provoke feelings of anxiety, you know, whatever we're needing to portray at this juncture in the film. And this one is rife for it.
Liftoff. We have liftoff. 751. UTC.
The approach is to do very practical sounds, which are the spacecraft at the edge of basically breaking apart, almost like creaking ocean liners, right? Combined with as abstract as you can get, using the actual sounds that have been recorded of Jupiter and Neptune. And when I say actual sound, I know there's no sound in space, but what there is electromagnetic waves, which can be translated into sound.
Well, the team brings everything. They make me look much better. It's great. I've loved it so far. I mean, I'm only halfway through and I'm already kind of getting sentimental. What is that noise? It's like, what are they doing? You know, Stanley Kubrick once said, trying to direct a movie is like trying to write War and Peace in a bumper car on Coney Island.